Hello there, this is Alan Brady with the second video to assist you with your final assignment. This video is fairly short. It covers getting the information to draw a long section and how to set up the long section on a sheet of A4 graph paper so that it'll work and everything will fit. And then there's a third video that concentrates on doing the vertical alignment design. So getting the information you need to plot your long section. You need to get the distance or the chainage of each contour point along the road. If we start at 0, you can see there's not a contour passing through that point, as might be the case in your design, your situations. So here we've interpolated and we've decided the RL is going to be 17.5 by interpolating between the contours. As we scale down on the straight, we've got the 15-metre contour cropping up at 18 millimetres long. The 10-metre crops up at 40. The first bank of the river at 43, second bank at about 49, and so on. We keep working through there. If you're working in a 1 in 2,000 scale, you can go directly. If you're working with millimetres and multiplying by your scale factor, don't get carried away with the calculator. Work to the nearest metre. When it comes to plotting, the distance of the chainage is going to be only precise to the nearest metre. But remember to round your answer off for distance to the nearest metre. Okay, have a close look through your road design, through the straights. This is a different plan, but you can see near curve 1, there's an absence of contours. We know the road's going to be higher than 30, but under 35 metres. Have a look to see if this crops up anywhere in your plan. There might be some spot heights marked. But if you had a large gap like this, it might be a good idea to get your survey party to do some surveying on the route through here so that you can, rather than guessing what the RL is going to be, you'll have something more precise to use for your design. The other thing why we said it's important to plot the curves is for getting the chainages of the contours 30, 25, 20 heading down to the right of the plan. It's much easier if I get the chainage of TP2, line my scale up at that chainage and then measure on from there rather than trying to measure around the curve. So on a piece of paper, list down each contour RL and next to it the scale distance or chainage along your road. Again, you've already had experience of this in your contouring assignment. So this exercise has been designed to ensure the long section be plotted on A4 sheet of graph paper, as long as you take a bit of care in setting it up. Get graph paper, it makes plotting so much easier. Please work with a scales of 1 in 2,000 horizontally, 1 in 200 vertically. So here's an example of a long section. Note that it'll be totally different to the example or the plan you're working on. 40 millimetres up from the bottom of the plan, rule in your baseline, label it as RL5, and that should mean the top of the page is RL33, which will cover all the eventualities of your designs. The 40 millimetres below the baseline should be divided equally into 3 rows for the natural surface, the design RL, and the distance or the chainage. Use your sheet of paper that has the contours and the chainage and plot along the baseline the distances for each of your contours. You can see the little ticks along the baseline. Below that, in the distance and natural surface rows, fill in the numbers, making sure that the numbers straddle the plotted point. A good example is the 160 and 33 RL. You can see that that straddles exactly on the line. Using the squared paper and a scale, plot vertically upwards from each of the tick points, put a dot on the long section, and then rule the dots join the dots by a straight line ruled between them. That is a best estimate. If there was something extra there, you'd have more detail for it. Don't try a line of best fit. Please just rule dot to dot. Once you've got that long section plotted up, you're ready to start doing the design for your vertical alignment of the road, putting in the grades and the vertical curves. And the third video will take you through that process. Remember that the example of the long section here will be used again in the next video, and it is completely different. It's a totally different example. It won't bear any resemblance to your plan, but the concepts of how you do a vertical design alignment remain the same, even if the topography is different.